Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a box office update with some of the official box office weekend numbers and including the numbers from yesterday. And also, we'll be updating one of the numbers that I was covering and why the loss that I'm projecting will happen for the film might not actually be a loss because of some extenuating circumstances that someone in the comments brought up that was actually a very good point. So I'll get to that in a second. And also at the very end of the video, I will have an update on my Blu-ray DVD collection with some more goodies from MVD Visual, including a couple of new Arrow video releases, which I'm very excited to share with you guys. So first, let's talk about Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is doing insane bonkers numbers, up to $742.8 million, a juggernaut film that's going to cross the billion-dollar mark either this weekend or next weekend, a film that is projected to make between $1.2 and $1.4 billion, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. And actually, it's a good time to talk about, and also a huge shout out to my boy JJ, who has been a Patreon supporter, a subscribe star. You know, it's a Patreon. No, he's on Patreon, a subscribe star. He's a supporter of the channel, and also he is usually in a lot of the live chats as well. But he sent me some information the other day about possibly doing something a little bit different with the box office projections. And so I actually have this set up now. Now it's still in a work in progress. It's still trying to work a couple things out. But basically, what I'm doing, especially since websites like thenumbers.com and the once great boxofficemojo.com aren't really great for tracking weekends anymore, I've decided to start tracking weekends myself. And so I'll start tracking movies from the first weekend they're out and tracking them up until their second weekend. And then once their second weekend is passed, adding in what the minimum projection and maximum projection for that film is, what that average of those two would be, and also what is likely going to be what is the marketing cost, budget cost, and then once the film has left theaters, what the actual number is, so that way you can see how well my math holds up and also where these films tend to fall at the end of the day. As I said, still a lot of places to go, but still, I just wanted to show it with you guys. And so you can see right now, Frozen 2, as of the second weekend before the update, was at $738.5 million. And so as an update, it's up to $742 million. So it's gone up about $4 million or so, which means that the film is likely, after the first 2 weeks, is very likely to make around, at minimum, $1 billion and at maximum $1.47 billion. Now, you see that if 70% or if 50%. Remember when I did my box office breakdown that I explained that films tend to make around 60% or so of their entire box office in their first 2 weeks. So you take 70% as being the lowest end, meaning it's made the vast majority of its money in the first 2 weeks, meaning it's not going to make a whole lot more. That means that the low end of Frozen 2 would be around $1 billion. Then you take the high point, saying, let's assume that the film makes 50% more. It's made $738 million. It makes another $738 million. Well, then that would put it at around $1.47 billion, with the average being around 1.2. So that's where I get that range from, based on percentages of what it's making in the first 2 weeks. And then, of course, you get the average, which would be the 60% range. I then, of course, I'm going to try and add in budgetary cost and marketing cost. But for Frozen 2, last time I checked, there was no official number for its budget, which means we can't assume what the marketing cost will be at either. And then, of course, once the film is out of theaters, we'll get the actual number of what it made and then compare that to how much it cost to really show you how much money the film actually made in net gain, or in some cases, like with the case of Charlie's Angels, in net losses, because as you can tell, it cost around $72 million in total to make, but it's only made around $62 million, or rather, it's only made so far around $43 million, which means its max is going to be somewhere between 87 and a minimum of 62, meaning the film is going to owe money because it only gets, remember, 60% of the entire box office numbers. But anyway, enough math. This is going to be up there. I'm going to try and get this public somewhere, either on my website, ombReviews.com, which is still alive, but I've definitely fallen behind on that because I just haven't had time to keep up with it. But as the weeks go on for these new movies coming out, I think it's going to be an interesting way to track these films going forward. So shout out to you, JJ. So Frozen 2 doing insanely well. Knives Out is actually doing pretty well so far, to the fact that it's made $71.4 million after its first weekend. The budget was $40 million. That means the movie we'll have to wait for the second weekend, but the movie is on pace to make around probably $150 million or so, which would put this film in that making a profit territory. And based on the marketing blitz that we've had for this film, literally this trailer played before almost every single movie, and it's been pushed to death. I'm really not that surprised by it, but I still kind of want to watch it in the ways that I do. to make up my mind for myself. Charlie's Angels still not making anything with $51.5 million, and that one's going to be a loss, and there's no doubt that that film's going to be a loss. What is a question mark now is Ford v. Ferrari. So anyone's been waiting around for this. I'm very sorry it took this long, but I like to try and be as thorough as I can. So Ford v. Ferrari, at this point in time, is not likely to make box office profit off of what we see in the raw totals. It's only made $143 million so far. It cost around $100 million, meaning that with marketing, it cost around $150 million in order to make this film. If you're only making about as much as you're spending on a film and you only get 60% of the entire box office, that means that you're going to have a net loss. However, some people have made interesting points, which is, well, wait a minute, what about the product placement that occurs in this film? I mean, not only do you have Ford and Ferrari being featured in this film, but you also even have some references to Coca-Cola as well. Could those campaigns, those ad references, possibly negate some of the loss that it might have at the box office? And the truth is, probably. The only problem with those numbers is that we don't have them. We don't have how much money Coke paid. We don't have how much money Ford or Ferrari gave to the studio in order to be featured in the films. We don't know those numbers at this point, or even if they did pay anything. Ford v. Ferrari, I mean, the fact that you have Ford and Ferrari, who knows if they even paid anything to be featured, since it's a story about them. They might say, oh, it's free publicity for us because you have to make the story anyway. We don't have to actually pay you anything. Different when things like Coke, etc., like that probably want to actually be featured in the film. So could there be some extra money, some extra cash that the film is getting from those other revenue streams to make up for that loss? Absolutely, it could be. Now, is it going to be enough to make up for the loss? It really is hard to tell because we don't have those numbers in front of us. So could it be that Ford v. Ferrari is not a box office bomb? It very well could be the case. However, it's really hard for me to say that. That's why I kind of want to put that asterisk next to it, want to slightly rescind, but not fully, because all I can do as someone looking at the numbers is look at the numbers that we have available to us. If I had access to all of the financials of the studio about how much was given to them in all these different areas, then I would have some understanding as to what money they're going to lose and what money they're going to gain. Because I don't have that information, all I can do is look at, okay, what's it making at the box office? How much did it likely cost? And how do we work those numbers out into a net gain or net loss? So I just wanted to mention that because I know that some people out there are not happy with my coverage of Ford v. Ferrari, and I want to be very clear here because a lot of people, I think, don't get to this point of the video, so they're probably still, commenting away in anger. I love this movie. This movie is fantastic. I think everyone should go see this movie because it's that damn good. But just because I like the movie and love the movie even at that, doesn't mean that I can hide the numbers that are in front of me. I'm not going to do that, and I haven't done that in the past, and I will not continue to do that in the future, because that's just not how I roll. So I just want to get that out there to all of you so that way you had an idea about it. Now, okay, I need to shout out some Blu-rays and some DVDs sent to me by MVD Visual. Once again, thank you so much for sending me these videos to review. The first one that I've been sent is a Arrow video release called The Limits of Control. The Limits of Control. This is an Arrow video release starring Tilda Swinton, John Hurt, and Bill Murray, which is a great cast. A couple other people that I don't recognize in there. But this is a film made by, what's the guy's name? Jim Jarmusch, who, if you don't know him as an American filmmaker, he made a film called Only Lovers Left Alive, which featured Tilda Swinton and also the actor that played Loki, which name I'm right now blanking out on for some reason. That's going to drive me crazy. So let me just go ahead. Tom Hiddleston. Didn't even need to. Look at that. Came to the old noggin. So Tom Hiddleston, and it played him and Tilda Swinton played basically vampire lovers. And it was this very interesting, very dark film that I kind of liked in certain areas. I thought it was a little too slow for me, but overall it was a very high quality film. So I'm actually very excited for this because this is actually an earlier film that Jim Jarmusch made in 2009, and it's an enigmatic loner arrives in Spain, instructed to make contact with a series of strangers in different locations throughout the country, each of whom provide a cryptic clue which propels him further towards his mysterious goal. But who is the lone man? Why is he here? And how does the recurring figure of an alluring femme fatale fit into the puzzle? So it looks like a giant mystery film with a great cast, so thank you for sending me that. Also have another Arrow video release called Slaughterhouse 5, based, of course, on the novel, which I have actually never read, so I'm very excited to be getting this one. So past, present, and future collide in a darkly satirical fashion in Slaughterhouse 5, based on the book from 1969. This tale of time travel and alien abduction emerged and a part of a wave of more cerebral science fiction films in the 60s and 70s, elevating the genre beyond the B-movie fare of previous decades. So it's a rendition of that book. So if you like Slaughterhouse 5, it is now available on Blu-ray from Arrow Video. Another DVD that I received was called Melody Makers, which actually sounds really interesting. This is all about, basically, it's looking into the history of rock and roll, but through photographs. So these are, for the first time ever, rare photographs that have just been uncovered by one person in particular. It's the film is Melody Maker's chief contributing photographer, Barry Wenzel. So he takes us along a journey in this film about all of the different people, including Mick Jagger, David Bowie, Elton John, Bob Dylan, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, Ray Davies, Frank Zappa, and Patti Smith, and many, many others. So it's basically a tale of music history, all told through photographs, and a lot of them are for the first time being shown in this film. So Melody Makers, if you are a music fan out there. Another film for music fans is called Come On, Feel the Noise, the story of how rock became metal. I know a bunch of people who watch the channel that's going to be interested in this. So this features Jimmy Page, Ian Gillan, Ozzy Osbourne, Nikki Sixx, James Hetfield, Dee Snider, and Michael Monroe. And so this is also another story about how rock itself literally became metal. So it follows the journeys of several different bands. So as you can see, many different bands are featured in this film. Again, from social rebellion to art and commerce, this documentary chronicles the evolution of rock through analytical, entertaining, all-new original interviews. And so you'll find interviews of all these different people, and it'll go into how their music developed and changed over time. So if any music fans out there, Come On, Feel the Noise, now a DVD that's available for purchase. And the last one I got is Kenny Rogers, The Gambler's Last Deal, DVD, CD combo pack. And so this is the final farewell tour of Kenny Rogers. So it says here, Kenny Rogers, a true living legend of classic country music. His final tour, titled The Gambler's Last Deal, celebrates his career. And so this follows his tour in 2017. It brings you to several different venues that he performed in during the last tour, and basically is a retrospect on his life and career in music. So any Kenny Rogers fans, this is now available for purchase as a DVD and CD combo pack as well. So MVD Visual, thank you once again for sending me these. I really do appreciate it and cannot wait to check them out. So anyway, let me know your thoughts about any of those movies, but also, do you think Ford v Ferrari is going to make some money, potentially because of its deals with certain groups and organizations, which we don't have access to? We don't know how much money they're getting from Coke, or if they're getting any money for Coke for that matter. We assume that they are, but we don't have any hard evidence in front of us. So let me know whether or not you think Ford v Ferrari might actually have second life now because of that information. Frozen 2, how much will it make? Does it deserve to make it? No, it doesn't. It's not a very good film. And then also, let me know your thoughts about this box office projections Excel sheet. Are there certain categories that you think I should add to it? What do you think would make it a little bit cleaner? And also, do you have any recommendations on how I can get this information out in a cleaner way where it can update constantly as soon as I put the numbers in? Anyone that has information about that, how I can do that, I assume that the best way to do that live and not having to spend too much money, which I don't have to be able to put into like a legit website, would be by using some type of Excel, by publishing this. That's how I'm able to get the box office, or rather the movie scores, out on ombreviews.home.blog. But let me know if you have any information on that. And please leave a comment in the pinned comment, because that's going to be the best place for me to actually see your comment, since the comment section has been kind of going crazy lately. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this stuff and all the things we talked about in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash the like button, give me a subscribe. It helps me a lot. You're all amazing people. I'm going to go try and set up my PS4, which just came in today. So I'll be giving out my ID in future videos. If anyone wants to play me in any games right now, I've got Modern Warfare, Spider-Man. I've also got The Last of Us Remastered Edition. I have God of War and something Event Horizon, New Event Horizon, I think. All of that's downloading right now. So much stuff to download, but hopefully I'll be able to play a little bit of that before the stream tonight. Anyway, you guys are amazing. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.